G'day everybody. Today we're starting a new series about New Zealand and Scandinavia. And this first video is called Two Models, One Question. On a world map, New Zealand and the Nordic countries sit about as far apart as you can get. We're a Pacific nation of just over 5 million people. There are a cluster of northern countries, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland and Iceland, with their own histories, languages and cultures. Yet, in conversation, in media and in politics, we often mention each other in the same breath. New Zealanders are told to look to the Nordic model if we want better social outcomes. Scandinavians sometimes look at us as a case study in rapid economic reform and pragmatic experimentation. This series is my attempt to take that conversation seriously. I want to ask one big question. How can small nations build systems that are fair, resilient, and prosperous for all their people across generations? New Zealand and the Nordics have answered that question very differently. We have a bicultural foundation in the Treaty of Waitangi, a big bang of reforms in the 80s and 90s, and a strong Pacific orientation. The Nordic countries have centuries of shared history, deep social democratic traditions, and a long run of coalition politics and consensus building. Both are small trade-reliant economies. Neither wins by sheer size or military strength. Both live or die by the quality of their choices and the level of trust people have in their institutions. So what I'm doing in this project is mapping the big pieces of each system: governance and justice, tax and welfare, housing and urban planning, health and education, business and innovation, environment and infrastructure, and asking a few simple questions. What is it like to live, work, and run a business inside these systems? Where do they make things easier? Where do they make things harder? For a small business owner in Auckland, Wellington, or Cargill, that might mean asking why compliance feels so heavy here compared with how Denmark supports its SMEs. For a Māori whānau dealing with health inequities, it might mean asking what we can learn from the Sami experience is or isn't integrated into the Nordic health systems. For a family in Christchurch watching house prices run away, it might mean looking at how the Swedish and Finnish housing policies have shifted affordability pressures in different directions. Across 16 chapters, we'll move through each of these domains. The approach is simple: narrative first, stories and real-world texture before charts and tables. Comparative clarity, a few carefully chosen numbers where they help, like prison population, paid parental leave or voter turnout. Breadth with depth, wide coverage, but with case studies that show how system-level choices land in everyday life. By the end, I'm aiming for 3 outcomes. First, some grounded lessons for New Zealand. Not everything Nordic can be transplanted, but there are ideas, from universal childcare to stronger worker voice and smarter SME support, that are worth a serious look. Second, a clearer sense of what New Zealand already does well. Our pragmatism, our bicultural foundations, our Pacific connections, and our ability to move quickly are real strengths that Scandinavia does not necessarily share. And third, a mirror for both sides. Sometimes the most useful thing about international comparison is not the envy or the boasting, it's the perspective. Seeing another small society wrestle with similar problems in different ways helps you see your own choices more clearly. If you own or manage an SME, work in policy or education, or you're just trying to make sense of the direction Aotearoa is heading, I hope this series gives you something solid to think with. You can read the full introduction article at the link in the description, and also how to get hold of me if you'd like a quiet chat. Okay, well, I hope this will be interesting to you. Hope to see you back here soon. Okay, cheers. Bye.